Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Black Belt Beauty Radio. Today's Solosode is inspired by some recent challenges that I have lived through. And I feel that sharing my process is, I think that there's a lot of value to just, keeping it super real and putting it out there for you guys, because I feel like everyone can relate to this stuff. So, Recently, I had a couple podcasts that were so stimulating, so inspiring, and with incredible people, and I cannot wait to share with you. These particular episodes were recorded over a Skype call, right? So it's just so much, it's different when you are having a conversation with someone, especially someone that you've never met before, over the computer. You can't look into their eyes and body language and energy in the room. It's just so different. I definitely prefer in person, but sometimes you got to take what you can get, And so after one recently, I found myself, it's so crazy. I found myself kind of beating myself up a little bit for a couple hours afterwards. Like, oh, did you make sense there? Oh, you messed up that word a little bit, but oh. And I would even feel myself cringe. It was so funny. And, I should just say that, when you're doing these podcasts and for me, I'm not in a studio. I'm in my home. I have to shut all the windows, all the doors, make it super quiet. And it's super hot right now, so you're kind of having this conversation with this person that you never met over a computer. You can, again, no eye contact, no body language, nothing. And you're hotboxing. It's awesome. It definitely adds another layer of challenge to generating this conversation in a very authentic way, right? But, you do, I think, as a podcaster, when you are, essentially having a conversation, or we can call it an interview with someone, there's touch points, and you have to guide the conversation, not in a contrived way, but, you have to make sure that, hey, we have, this amount of time and this much to cover, and you really want to pull kind of the best from the person. And so there's a lot of things to consider, kind of like a lot of moving parts mentally, that go through my mind when I am creating these podcasts, with other people. So, and all of it is so important to me, not just, it's not even so much about me as much as I want to make sure that it's awesome for you guys. And I want to make sure that, those who have agreed to share their valuable time with me, that I want it to be awesome for them, so it's really actually not about me. It's about, you guys and my guests. So anyways, cut to, I finished, this one particular podcast, which was so rad, and I was so stoked to have this guest on, and then I find myself kind of going back and beating myself up, like I just said. It was really interesting. And then what's rad is, like, I would stand up for myself, right? I'd be like, come on, you don't deserve to beat yourself up. You gave it everything you got, and you're being hard on yourself, and you need to be gentle right now. Stop. Literally, I say that to myself. Which, put a pin in that for a second. I think that there's value in that. Just being able to stand up for yourself to yourself. It's really important. It sounds funny when you say it out loud, but it's actually really important. And it's so, it's so in alignment with when I, the statement that I've put out for so long and continue to, you got you, right? It's like you having your own back. So I definitely did that, but I will admit that I would find myself back in that place of, where I'm kind of replaying things and picking at myself. And here's the part that's so funny. So, by the end of the night, I remember I was like, wow, you are feeling insecure. And it felt almost like, a realization. You would think it's so obvious, right? But it wasn't. It was only until that moment where I was like, wow, this is really insecure. And the cool part about that, that I actually captured and kind of like put the lid on it for me, and I just was done with it all, was that it made me realize how much I actually don't live in that space of, being insecure, lack of confidence, because it was such a kind of foreign, invasion of emotion that I was feeling. I was like, what is this right now? Oh my gosh, you're being insecure. And to realize that was actually really powerful. And I think that's, we can put a pin in that too, because, I could have very easily have realized, holy shit, you're being insecure, and then beat myself up over that. But instead, I took the kind of higher road, effortlessly. It was like, well, that's awesome. This is very not familiar to you. And, you live from a place more so, you live from a state of confidence more so in your life, which is beautiful. But it doesn't make me immune to, feeling insecure at times. I mean, I've done a whole Solosode about my, confidence arsenal and the tools that allow, that support my confidence to be, a dominant feeling that I'm living from on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I'm not immune to it. And I'll say this too. I think that when we care about something, it could definitely produce feelings as such, insecure feelings. Am I doing this right? Was it enough? Like, all that kind of, talk that goes through our mind. When we care about something, when we're putting ourselves out there, when we're going for big things, big, kind of uncomfortable, brand new things in our lives. Yeah. And just to kind of unpack that a little bit, I mean, I don't have a background in speaking, and I've said it so many times. I'm an introvert more than anything. I mean, so, I'm not, yes, I share myself on social media, and, I may not come across as shy, and I wouldn't even consider myself shy, because I think that there's a difference. Being an introvert doesn't mean that, you're necessarily shy. I'm not really shy. I'm just, I don't know. I don't necessarily, I'm not, being on center stage is not my comfort zone, right? But connecting is something that I do love. And so that allows me to kind of push past feelings of, like the introverted part of myself. But yeah, so, having this podcast, which is something that I haven't even been doing for a year yet, you guys, it's brand new, and it's like learn as you go and do the best that you can. And, when I wrapped up that day, that I felt some moments of insecurity, I realized, some of the things that I said to myself was, you're just going to get better and better. There's no way around this part. And this is the part that I really want to amplify and put attention to. Even if there was a way around, you guys, I don't want it. I do not want it. No way. This is where everything that matters to me personally, like this is where it's at. Because maneuvering through the challenge allows me to not only attain skills and all that, but just it helps me to connect deeper to myself. It allows me to really learn what I'm made of. What am I really capable of? And that stuff is so expensive to me. It's so juicy. It's so potent. I would never, ever want to skip out on that part to take the easier route. No way. So, the reason why I really want to share this particular, this part of my process with you guys is because it's actually really in alignment with my why factor, the why behind starting my podcast. It's all about turning our best into better, right? Living from our most kind of high performing self and, living a life that reflects it. And yes, there's so many amazing guests that I get to have on and am about to have on and will continue having on. And I can talk about so many different, awesome things and things of real value. Hopefully I have already so far for you guys. And, but here's the thing, sharing the raw kind of, the stuff between the lines with you guys as I'm creating this, as I'm learning as I go, I think there's a lot of value in that because, look, how often do we see out there, the finished product, the highlight reel, all that in quotations, like the perfect, I don't know, whatever. I'm stuck on a word. I'm going to keep moving on. That's actually and that was like perfect timing right there, which has happened. I could sit here and be like, oh, damn, let me edit, let me go. Fuck, I don't want to do that. That's not going to help you because we all have those moments. Take that and expand it and put it some other area of your life. We all have sloppy moments. If we don't, we're not really doing anything that's like, I don't know. I just feel like to really go for big things, to try, we have to be willing to get sloppy. We have to be willing to, be embarrassed, to be like, oh shit, did that really happen? We have to be willing to go through that stuff. There's really no way around it, not if you're building something that's real. And that's what, everything that I create, it has to be from a foundation of authenticity. And so I feel like if I share this part of my process with you guys, maybe it supports you in a few ways, maybe, you've been wanting to do something, but you haven't felt confident. And now you're like, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. Whether it's building a business or going on a trip or asking somebody out, whatever it is, I'm going to go for it because, whatever, what's the worst that can happen? I get denied, or, I spend more money than I wanted to, or, the first, end product, didn't come out as great. Yeah, okay, so what? At least you're trying, right? So maybe sharing the parts where I feel insecure and I feel like, oh, was that a little sloppy? And just kind of putting it all out there with you guys, maybe it supports you to just be like, yeah, it's okay. I might get sloppy and I might not be perfect all the time, but so what? At least I'm doing my shit. What I want to do. I'm going for it. That's definitely my intention and hope behind sharing, this Solosode with you guys. So yeah. And then I think another piece, which can almost be another Solosode in of itself, is the value in, paying attention to what you're doing, observing, and not being hard on yourself, not judging. I had this thought the other day. And again, I think I actually will make this a Solosode, sooner than later. And so this might come up again, but I was sitting in the airport and I had this thought, like, we cannot be learning and judging at the same time. And so if we go back to that moment that I just shared where I was feeling insecure, what was I doing? I wasn't learning in that moment. I was judging myself. I was judging, my performance and, and again, even if it wasn't about me and me, it wasn't this like, oh, you didn't do it perfect for you. It was more like, did I give this person the best possible experience the way that I want to, over this conversation? That's truly what it came down to. And I would tell you if it was the other part, because it wasn't. I will say this. I know that if I was in the room with the person, yeah, there would have been a better version of myself in that moment that would have come out just naturally because of the environment. The setup would have been different. But I already know that going in. So I give myself that breathing room to be like, come on, you're staring at a computer and you're trying to have a deep, profound heart to heart with someone that you've never met. I got to give myself some room, right? I'm not 10,000 hours of this in yet, I haven't mastered it yet. But anyways, yeah. So just to go back to that concept of we cannot be learning and judging at the same time. How cool is that? That's such a great check, mental check, because I'm a growth mindset junkie. As you know, I'm sure you guys already know, and there's a good chance that if you're listening to this podcast, you are too. So we are addicted to learning things that allow us to better ourselves and thus our lives, right? So, where would you rather be in those moments? Like, would you rather be judging where judging is it feels like such a stagnant energy. It's so heavy and just kind of stuck, uncomfortable. And I can say that in that moment where I felt those, the kind of back and forth of insecurity, it's like, that's exactly what it felt like. And that's why it felt so foreign to me. I feel like day to day, I kind of operate from a very light and playful version of myself, focus but yeah, light. And then that was just like hard and heavy and just, yeah. I mean, I can keep going, but yeah, it was just uncomfortable. And judging feels uncomfortable to me, learning is so expansive and it's so light and it's so not necessarily easy, not at all, but it's open. And I like open, I like space. I love expansion because within expansion lies possibilities, and within possibilities lies opportunities. So even if it's an opportunity to, advance your mind, it's still an opportunity. Like if you're just paying attention to yourself and observing and not judging. And all of that is so in alignment with, what I always put out there, you got you got to have your own back. Having your own back is certainly not judging yourself. It's not making what's already difficult even more challenging. And, there's a healthy kind of challenge and then there's the unnecessary, unhealthy kind of challenge. And I think that we humans are actually responsible for a lot of, what part of the challenge we're living from, I mean, I called myself out, literally. I was like, you're making this so much harder on yourself than you need to. I keep it real with myself, you guys. Helps. Yeah. So it was just a really interesting experience. It wasn't totally foreign. I've felt that before, but I now that I have a platform where I can kind of just share it and, again, with the intention of whatever it is that you want to do and you're holding back from doing because you're feeling insecure. I hope that this pushes that insecurity to the side. Maybe it doesn't diminish it. It just says, no, sorry, you can't be in my way. You can't lead me. Like I need to go through this and see who I am and what I can create, what, I can accomplish by going through this. And in addition to that, maybe, for those of you who are already in a situation, or maybe you felt something recently, like I just shared, maybe this is just the inspired talk to remind you that at least you're doing it, and don't make it harder on yourself. Appreciate the process. Do not try and shortcut around this part of it because this part of it is so dope and so important. I mean, I think about this. Where is this podcast going to be in a year? Wow. What a big thought for me. I mean, I can tell you that I have a very good idea of where it's going to be. It's an idea that is really a vision, and it's something that I not only see, but I feel. And, part of that also is it's not just because it's like this thing that I want, but it's because I know that I have the ability to make it happen. And so that gives me a sense of control in the process, right? It's like there is some confidence in saying, if you want to generate this vision, to bring this vision into life, to actualize it, well, cool. You're responsible for making that happen too. And I love that responsibility. So, yeah, but like, where is this going to be in a year? And then to come back to an episode like this, it's going to be really cool, just to have documented, part of the process. So yeah, you guys, I'm empty and full at the same time. And that's how I know it's a wrap. So I would love it so much if, you guys share your thoughts with me on this one. DM me, comment, you know how to reach me, you know how to find me. Yeah, it would mean a lot. I think that it's really important for us to be honest and to be authentic. And it doesn't mean you have to share everything. I mean, share what you want, but I felt something about this particular part of my process that I felt was in alignment with my why factor behind Black Belt Beauty, behind this podcast. And, I just felt like we see a lot of artificial out there. We even see artificial vulnerability. That's really funny to me. I won't even start that. But we do see it, and you all know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, all right. So, but I really do believe that there's so much value in true authenticity, sharing even the messy, the sloppy, the insecure, these parts of process that are so, so powerful. Yeah, I believe it's so powerful. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me. You know it means a lot to me. I appreciate you so much. And I'm sending all of you my love as always and excited for the next one. Thanks for taking the time to check out this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please share it with your friends. Head over to iTunes, subscribe to this podcast, rate it, leave me an honest review. Let's connect. I'm so excited to do that in this space and really create content that elevates your mind in support of your best performance in life. You can find me on Instagram at Black Belt Beauty. I'm active there every single day, and I look forward to connecting with you all. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one.